Playtime 5 is definitely coming in 2026, just like it happened with the previous chapters. It's going to drop during the first quarter of 2026, in January, February, or March. And in this chapter, we're finally going to uncover secrets that have been waiting since back in 2021, when Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 first released. Chapter 5 is going to reveal everything. We might finally learn who Olly really was and what his true fate was. Who was Huggy Wuggy in life? Which child did he used to be? We're going to see the full body of the prototype, plus the identities of the children used inside Playtime Code's experiments. And the most important part, we're finally going to discover who the real villain of this entire series is. Who do you think it is? Experiment 1006 or Poppy? Everything in this video will break it down, and we'll analyze it from the inside, from the mind of the creators. We start Chapter 5 exactly where Chapter 4 ended, with you, player, completely isolated. Poppy running through the vents, Kissy Missy missing an arm, alone with no one. None of this is a coincidence. The prototype's goal has always been to isolate us. The explosion wasn't meant to kill us, it was meant to separate us. Poppy goes through the vents, you fall and get separated, and Kissy is left entirely alone. 3 different routes, 3 different destinies, and there's a very strong theory that says we're going to control Poppy as well as player, but we'll analyze that later. Look closely. The official chapter description says we are entering the prototype's domain, and that's not an adjective, it's a warning. It means you are in the zone where the prototype controls everything, where he decides what moves, who lives, who dies, and how the story progresses. We're not talking about a simple enemy, we're talking about the puppeteer behind all the experiments, if he really is 1006. And yes, he likely is. And they're also hinting at something else, the tortured inhabitants. For the first time in the saga, the official game description literally says, inhabitants that live in the darkness. This confirms that we're getting creatures that aren't toys, beings who have been trapped there for years, incomplete experiments, victims that might help you, or hand you over to 1006. These creatures have never appeared in previous chapters. Chapter 5 opens a completely new layer of the lore, the ones who didn't come out right. And the most disturbing part, some of them may actually remember who they were before becoming monsters. We also have a confirmed enemy, Lily Loverbraids. Lily is not a theory, she's visually confirmed. We saw her in the teaser, and she is completely different from any previous boss for one simple reason. Her braid is a living weapon, and it's not decoration, it's not aesthetics. That braid holds her body up, lifts her, reshapes itself, aims at Poppy with surgical precision, and attacks like an extra limb, like an arm or a leg. We've already seen that Lily is an experiment based on control and performance. Children's performer shoes, skirt with fringes, golden stars, leg warmers. Everything in her design screams she was a child meant for the stage, until Playtime turned her into something else. And yes, everyone says she's roomy. Here's the important part. Lily talks like someone who knows what pain is. She only says, we're going to have so much fun. And in Playtime, having fun means the opposite. It means suffering. And now, another confirmed enemy, the wrong side, Outimals. I call him the crest monster. The second confirmed enemy is that creature with the torn crest. It's not a cute character, it's not a mascot, it's not a functional experiment. It's an abandoned toy, dirty, broken, distorted. Its body looks hand-stitched, poorly assembled like it was built out of leftover parts. And the first action we see from it is a direct hit at the camera, a kind of punch aimed at Poppy. According to leaks, the Outimals are altered, deformed animals used as guardians in the prototype's territory. This one specifically has an animal-like posture, irregular speed, instant aggression, and it blocks Poppy's escape. It doesn't let her through because it's an enemy. And why is the prototype going to tell his story in Chapter 5? Because this chapter is his story. The official text describes the prototype as the puppeteer behind the events of Playtime Company. I originally thought maybe the puppeteer wasn't 1006, and I even made a video about that, but this is no longer theory. This is canon. Chapter 5 is going to show us his full body, his real function inside the factory, whether he's good or evil, why he controls the other toys, and his direct connection to the children. But above all, we're going to see his human side. We already saw hints of it in the teasers. He's becoming more humanized. The prototype does not perceive himself as a monster. He sees himself as a person trapped. When he says he's talking about the orphans who were turned into experiments, he's talking about himself and about Poppy and maybe about Player. Another important thing, why doesn't Player speak? Why does he stay silent? We'll talk about that later. That deserves its own videos. So what are the major revelations we'll see in Chapter 5? I'm sure we'll see more VHS tapes revealing Olly's real fate, more information about the child he was before 1006 captured him. We'll also see the human identity aspect, the official reveal of the orphan who was turned into Huggy. Huggy was the beginning. We already know how important he is. He won't be just any kid. We're also going to see the complete body of the prototype. Finally, not isolated mechanical arms, not shadows, his entire form. And we're going to see his face. Will it also be mechanical? We'll also see the emotional connection between player and the experiments. If player used to be a worker and a highly important one, if they confirm that the saga will change forever. And here's another strong theory, new mechanics are coming. Poppy Playtime loves new mechanics and they love innovating, and every chapter has been different. Chapter 1 with Huggy Wuggy was all speed and ventilation chases. Chapter 2 had the mini games, 3 of them, and then Mommy's chase with a completely different gameplay structure. So now there's a very strong theory that for the first time that we will play as 2 characters, Player and Poppy. Why does this make sense? They are completely separated. Their stories evolve in parallel. This chapter is the longest in the saga, and Poppy has abilities Player does not. Poppy has no strength and no grab pack, no reach, but she is tiny, stealthy, agile, able to enter narrow spaces and emotionally recognized by the creatures. Imagine playing as Poppy and the creatures remembering her. You'd need to make psychological decisions, use your size in tense chases. This mechanic could make Chapter 5 the most immersive one in the entire franchise. And now the real threat, the prototype as the final arc of the game. There is speculation that this chapter could be the end of the main storyline. But there's a detail. Zach Belanger talked about Chapter 6 in quotation marks. This suggests that yes, it exists, but with another protagonist, another time, another approach. And that means that Chapter 5 would be the end of Player, Poppy, and the prototype. The end of their arc. But that doesn't mean there aren't more stories behind this one. Chapter 6 could go in a completely different direction. What we do know is that Chapter 5 will be long, complex, emotional, and extremely explosive. It won't end with a simple cinematic. There will be trauma, there will be truth. Chapter 5 is going to destroy a lot of theories, including mine. But that's how it works. The people who theorize are the ones who get proven wrong. It's going to open wounds and show a side of Playtime code that we've never seen before. What we're going to witness is not factory horror, it's human horror.